So picture this. You're scrolling through your social media feed, and suddenly you see a video of someone sticking a magnet right to their arm after a vaccination. Or maybe you've stumbled on a post claiming that a microscopic 5G-powered tracking chip has been secretly slipped into the global vaccine supply. I mean, it sounds like pure science fiction, right? But for millions of people around the world, these questions felt very, very real. Are COVID-19 vaccines actually magnetic? Do they really contain tracking microchips?
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're basically acting as digital detectives to objectively deconstruct the COVID-19 vaccine infodemic. We're going to strip away all the noise, set aside the politics, and rely entirely on hard, verifiable data to figure out exactly how these rumors started and what the actual science tells us.
Okay, let's dive right in. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the global infodemic, unpack the anatomy of a microchip myth, and investigate the magnetic arm trend. Then we'll look inside the COVID-19 vaccines, explore the psychology of conspiracies, and wrap up with achieving cognitive inoculation.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the global infodemic.
To really wrap our heads around a rumor, we first have to understand the massive global scale of misinformation that accompanied the pandemic. A comprehensive study published in the research journal PLOS1 tracked exactly this. They identified 637 distinct rumors and conspiracy theories circulating online. And what's truly staggering here isn't just that number, it's the reach. These claims racked up over 103 million engagements on platforms like Facebook and Twitter. People weren't just passively scrolling past these, they were liking, sharing, and actively amplifying them to their entire networks.
And this brilliantly illustrates how this wasn't just some local issue. Tracked across 52 different countries, the highest volumes of these viral, unverified claims were heavily concentrated in the United States, India, and Brazil. It was a highly contagious global information event.
So, how does this global data impact everyday communities? Well, a study conducted by Carleton University took a closer look. They found that nearly half, 46% of the Canadians they surveyed, believed at least one major COVID-19 conspiracy theory. It really highlights how deeply these internet narratives penetrated our local communities and shaped public perception. So, when exactly did all of this happen? If you look at the timeline throughout 2020, you can see three distinct waves of misinformation. And here's the fascinating part. The volume of these rumors matches up almost perfectly with Google's search interest for COVID-19 vaccines. As a worried public completely starved for answers turned to the internet, that information void was just rapidly filled by unverified rumors and wild theories. Moving right along to Section 2, Anatomy of a Microchip Myth. Zooming in from all that macroscopic data, let's look at one specific, incredibly viral case study, the tracking microchip. Just laying the facts out impartially, the internet myth claimed a 5G-powered chip, funded by Bill Gates, was being secretly injected to track our biometric data. The actual science? Well, researchers at Columbia University and TU Delft genuinely did publish a study about creating a sub-0.1 cubic millimeter medical device that is literally the size of a grain of salt. But its actual purpose? It was designed to be implanted in mice to measure their body temperature in real time. Furthermore, from a pure engineering standpoint, the conspiracy theory completely falls apart. As the researchers who actually built the chip pointed out, it doesn't even use electromagnetics, let alone 5G. It requires an external ultrasound device just to be powered on and communicate. And perhaps the most grounded fact of all, even at the size of a grain of salt, this chip is physically too large to even fit through the standard 25-gauge needles used for COVID-19 vaccinations.
Which brings us to Section 3, the magnetic arm trend.
Now, while the microchip rumors spread mostly through articles, a totally different trend dominated video platforms like TikTok, WhatsApp, and Telegram. You probably remember it, the magnet challenge. Where did it even come from? Well, consider this quote from Emily, a TikToker whose video went wildly viral. She later posted a pretty frantic apology saying, "I did not mean to freak anybody out. I licked the magnet. That was a 100% joke." This perfectly captures how an innocent, if slightly misguided prank can get completely stripped of its context, shared around, and spiral out of control into a massive internet phenomenon. Now, what's really interesting about the rest of those videos is the actual simple science behind them. Physicist Eric Palm hit the nail on the head. He points out there is literally no physical reason for a magnet to stick because the vaccines simply don't contain magnetic metals. He explains, you can easily get a coin to stick to your skin because of the surface oils, surface tension. It's exactly like sticking coins to our foreheads when we were kids. It's basic surface tension, a little sticky residue, or just parlor trickery, not a magnetic reaction.
Let's dig into the actual ingredients in Section 4. inside the COVID-19 vaccines. To finally put these physical myths to rest, let's strip away all the wild claims about monkey genes or aborted fetuses and look strictly at the publicly available, verified clinical data from Mount Sinai. Both Pfizer BioNTech and Moderna contain nucleoside-modified mRNA that just provides the instructions to your cells. They contain specific lipids, like PEG-2000, which, fun fact, is incredibly common and actually a primary ingredient in standard everyday laxatives. Finally, they contain basic salts and simple sugars, like sucrose, to keep the molecules stable. And a really critical point to emphasize here: absolutely zero preservatives are used in either vaccine. That's the whole shebang.
So why do we fall for this stuff? That's Section 5, the psychology of conspiracies.
If the science is this transparent, why on earth do so many people believe the rumors? The University of Chicago Divinity School points out that we have to look at the unsettlingly normal cognitive roots of these beliefs. It's just human nature to look for patterns during a crisis. But that Carleton University survey we talked about identified some really specific risk factors. Get this, a stunning 57% of respondents were highly confident they could easily spot fake news. Ironically, the data shows that those who are overconfident are often the most easily fooled online. The survey also found that believers spend way more time daily on platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. Oh, and surprisingly, 18 to 29-year-olds were actually slightly more susceptible to these beliefs than older generations. No way, right?
When you combine a terrified public with what researchers call a data deficit, basically a lack of easily accessible, verified information, you create a massive void. Neutrally speaking, the studies show that political partisanship, raw fear, and this information black hole allowed sensational claims to flourish globally. Whether the rumor was about vaccines altering human DNA or the virus being some kind of bioweapon, the psychological mechanisms allowing them to spread were exactly the same.
All right, the final stretch, Section 6, Achieving Cognitive Inoculation.
So, how do public health experts and organizations like the World Health Organization actually propose we combat this massive infodemic? Through a really powerful concept called cognitive inoculation. The crucial point is this: just like a physical vaccine trains your body to recognize and fight off a virus, cognitive inoculation is about vaccinating the public mind. The World Health Organization suggests that if we can reach at least 30% of the population with good, scientifically accurate, and easily digestible information, we can actually build a form of herd immunity against fake news and disinformation. And the research actually outlines a clear 3-step playbook to achieve this herd immunity. Step 1, real-time tracking of rumors and social listening. You've got to catch the fake news before it goes viral. Step 2, engaging youth, faith, and community leaders. We need to communicate these risks in ways that are culturally compelling and actually connect with people. And step 3, proactive social media communication. We need to flood the internet with scientifically accurate data so there isn't a data deficit for conspiracy theories to fill in the first place.
Which leaves us with a final, really important question to consider. The next time you see a wild, sensational claim pop up on your timeline, whether it's about a medical breakthrough or a massive global event, take a second to evaluate your own social media consumption. Are you relying on the actual credibility of the source or just its virality? Have you been cognitively inoculated against the next viral internet rumor? Thanks so much for exploring the data with me on this explainer today. Keep asking those questions and always, always look for the facts.